This is part 2 of the last video called Noah's Flood in Egypt, which was about comparing Noah to the Egyptian god Atum and comparing Japheth to the Egyptian god Ptah, of which a link is provided in the description box below. I already know that the good folks who have read Zecharia Sitchin's massive body of work will argue with me that Ptah is Enki, the Sumerian god who created man, because Sitchin stated it in his work. Now look, I greatly respect Mr. Sitchin's research. If it was not for his work, I would not have gone digging through the sources. It's like he left us a roadmap to discover for ourselves if his claims were true or not. So you won't hear me bashing Mr. Sitchin or his work. I believe the main premise that there was an advanced race of humanoids that came to this earth in search of riches and eventually created mankind. They are remembered as gods throughout mythology, the Anunnaki or Elohim, the Homo superius, if you will. I agree with all of that. But I will gladly debate some of the minor details in Mr. Sitchin's work and how I came to those conclusions. Most certainly there are gods with specific characteristics that appear throughout different cultures with different names. For example, Enki. Enki is a god in the Sumerian pantheon that is responsible for creating us humans, as well as the god that helped Utnapishtim, the Sumerian counterpart of Noah, to survive the flood. He is also called Ea, or Nutty Mud, and in the Enuma Elish, the Sumerian creation myth, he is related to the planet Neptune. In the Norse myths, he is called Aegir, the Old Man of the Sea. In the Hindu culture, he is called Shiva, although the roles of Enki and his brother Enlil are reversed between Shiva and Vishnu. Who knows why? In the Greek myths, he is called Poseidon. In turn, Roman mythology calls him Neptune, which goes back to the Sumerian belief that he is related to that planet, which adds to the validity that the Romans were an offshoot of a more ancient Sumerian culture. Lastly, although he created humans in the Sumerian culture, he is called Serpent in the Bible for tempting Eve in the Garden of Eden. You should know that the Sumerian version of that event relates that humans were sterile, and Enki fixed it so that they could reproduce, which greatly angered his brother Enlil, so he was judged as evil, but I digress. Mr. Sitchin makes a claim that the Sumerian Enki, or Ea, is the Egyptian god Ptah. Here is an image of Enki creating man. In Egypt, the god of water and creation is called Khnum. He is also known to be the creator of mankind, just like Enki. Khnum is associated with water the same way that Enki is. The root of his name, Nu, means water. Even in the modern National Geographic's treasury of Egyptian mythology, it shows Khnum's connection to water, just like it shows with Enki. Enki is often described as a bit of a player with multiple love interests. Khnum is also said to have multiple wives in different locations. Certainly, there are praises for Ptah being a creator god, just as there are for Atum and Khnum. I understand. Some would even argue that Ptah and Khnum could be the same character, but there are texts that reveal them working together. Anyway, here is the root of the matter, which has to do with the legend of Ptah. Since we're at it, let's start with Atum. I'm using mythology.net. The link is provided below. Check out Atum's origin. It says, "At first there was nothing, just primordial water called Nu. A small hill of earth emerged from the water, and Atum created himself from it." Compare that to the story of Noah and Mount Ararat, which would have been a hill that emerged from the waters of chaos, the waters of the flood. Now let's check out what it says about Ptah. When the city of Memphis became the administrative capital of unified Egypt, the status of Ptah rose too. He was one of the most prominent gods in the time. Around 700 BC, a text called the Memphis Creation Myth was written. Of course, it was written in Memphis as the local citizens were interested in bringing their patron god of the city to the top of the god charts. That's the important part. As the Memphis Creation Myth is told, Ptah was identified with the first bit of dry land to emerge from the depths of the waters. It is for this reason he is known as the god of the earth. Ptah created Atum and all other deities of the Ennead, a full set of 9 deities called the Great Ennead of Heliopolis. Later on it reads, the process of absorbing gods into one another and combining beliefs is called syncretism, and it is an integral part of the Egyptian religion as it evolved throughout the kingdoms. So here's my question. Is Atum a victim of syncretism? Like I said in the previous video, I'm going to go ahead and trust the Bible on this one. Perhaps Ptah, Japheth, had a bigger role in recreating the earth after the flood, therefore being worshipped as a creator of all, along with Khnum. Japheth was enlarged, after all. Therefore, it is my opinion that Ptah is not Enki, he is Japheth, son of Noah. And I do believe that Atum and Ptah's roles were reversed because of syncretism. I understand it's Sitchin's opinion, because of perhaps what the Memphis text says, but this is mine. And perhaps it's worth discussing as a way to honor his work. Was he right that the ancient gods were superior humanoids that created mankind? Yes. Was he right about everything? Maybe not. And that's okay. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for your time.